What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Sarah Winstead here, bikini athlete and coach for Pro Physique. In today's video, I have a physique update for you with regards to the end of our mini cut phase. So I'll be going over that and diving deeper into it in the next clip. But I wanted to share with you one of my dieting hacks as you get deeper into a cutting phase, a lifestyle diet, a bikini prep, whatever it looks like for you. We need to incorporate more higher volume foods to just help us stay satisfied, help us stay satiated. I don't typically recommend it for those in improvement season because you have a lot more food to work with, but it can be really satisfying to have a nice big bowl of vegetables with your protein source, with a fat source on top for those meals, and it takes it a little bit longer to eat. It slows you down. And so for me, my go-to the last couple of weeks as we made our final push was cut up and sauteed zucchini squash and yellow squash. I add on some garlic powder and this sweet chili sauce from G Hughes. The macros in this are awesome. It's the right amount of sweet with the right amount of heat. It's literally 5 calories for 30 grams and it's 2 carbs. So I have 2 servings of this. I did the vegetables in it. And so finding creative ways to kind of make your meals a little bit more voluminous, make them a little bit more satisfying towards the end of a dieting phase can be helpful, but also rejiggering when you need your energy in your meals throughout the day. So for me, I like having the majority of my food breakfast and lunch because I work out first thing in the morning, so I need the energy. I do a lot of client check-ins in the mornings around lunchtime, and after lunch I have client calls. So by the time the evening comes around, I don't need as much food or as much fuel. And this also helps like avoid macro hoarding for anything like that as well. So I tend to keep my dinner a little bit lighter. I've found that if I go to bed a little bit hungry, it makes me excited, number one. I drink some water and I go to bed, and I might wake up the next morning with a little bit tighter, look a little bit better in my progress photos, maybe have my average weight drop for that week. And so it can be very, very exciting to kind of figure out what works for you, especially as your macronutrients get lower, cardio gets higher, as you dive deeper into any sort of fat loss phase. So I encourage you guys, if you're struggling with your macronutrients, if you're struggling with consistency, take a look at your meals. Take a look at some areas where you could make some adjustments. Y'all know, if you watched my videos previously, I love my sweet potatoes, but eventually they gotta go. This is what took its place. It helped me and keep me satisfied, keep me on track. And then of course, like I said, I rejigger some of my meals to have more food earlier in the day and a little bit less food at night, just to keep me, focused, have some good energy throughout the day, avoid the brain fog and things like that. So I'll dive deeper into our mini cut physique update, our reverse, our goals, and everything like that in the next clip. All right, guys, welcome to my new office in the new house. Still setting everything up right now, but wanted to dive deeper right now into the mini cut, go over the goals, how we did, what went well, what didn't go so well, and things like that, because no fat loss phase, as you will experience, is perfect. There's always hiccups, there's always bumps in the road, but the main goal every single week is to give your very best effort no matter what. So our goal going into this was to tighten things up. My goal always for improvement season for myself as well as my clients is to stay within about 20%, not pounds, 20% of your last stage weight. This will help us stay within like striking distance. That way it's not a huge amount of weight to get off, but we're still making improvements. We're still gaining a good amount of weight for our body size, our body type, and what we need to add based upon the judge's feedback. Upper body, lower body, tighten things up, whatever that may be, and whatever that looks like for the client, for me, and things like that. It's all unique to the person. And so, my average weight going into the mini cut was 123.8 pounds. So I had seen 124 pounds, 123. I've been hovering there for about 3 or 4 weeks or so, and I tend to gain in this improvement season, in my slight surplus that we were in before we started the mini cut. I was gaining at a rate of about a pound average a month, and so I knew that if we were to continue on that trajectory through the rest of the year, that I would kind of start to be outside the zone of that 20%, and it could be very hard on my body, being 5'1", to get more than 20% of my weight off to get to stage next year, which for me turns out to be right around 20 pounds. My stage weight in 2020 was 106.8 pounds. I'd love to be heavier than that with the same level of conditioning transitioning next year. That's why we took along an improvement season, to add muscle to my upper body and my lower body. So that's kind of the mindset and the goals going into the cutting phase. It was 6 weeks of dieting. However, I'll go over the hiccups that we experienced here in a second. And so overall success, I'll put some pictures up here just so you guys can see kind of where we started to where we ended up, as well as my weights. So my average was 123. I ended up this morning checking in with Paul at 119.8. I had hit 119.8 before our Colorado trip, but obviously there were some hiccups in there as well. And so that was, cumulatively right around 4 pounds lost in a total time frame of 6 weeks. What the more impressive thing, which you probably can notice in my physique photos, is my waistline. It really did come down a ton. Losing an inch off my waistline was a huge factor as far as like gauging progress and gauging success of the mini cut. And also you'll notice that my upper body leaned out a whole lot quicker than my lower body does. My core leaned out a little bit there, especially towards the end as we were kind of doing a final push. But my lower body remained, relatively similar. We lost some lower body, but we didn't lose as much. Now, females, this is typical for someone going through a fat loss phase. We tend to lean out, upper body first, core, and then lower body, glutes, hamstrings, hips, that kind of area, legs as well, especially back of the legs. That tends to be last. And I know you're probably thinking, that's where I wanted to go first. But genetically, look to your parents, look to generations on your family to see kind of where they genetically carry it and where they tend to lose it, because that also will drive where you lose it as well. But typically for females, I see the same trend as I see in myself, is that upper body tends to lean out first, then the core, then the legs. But again, genetically, I have seen a few girls that actually lean out in their legs first before anything else. Again, it just depends upon genetics, hormones, things like that as well. But overall, we're very happy with this progress. We're very happy with how my physique is looking. And I consider this mini cut a win. Now, 4.5 weeks of actual dieting, because like I said before, there is no perfect dieting scenario, not even for me as a coach. If you've watched my Instagram, you know that I sprained my ankle about, a week before we went to our trip for Denver. So it was a pretty bad sprain. I'm still dealing with some of the effects from it, but it's getting better every single week. But that being said, that took cardio for me off the table for a week. And so, I didn't lose as much and make as much progress as far as like waistline progress photos or anything like that. I couldn't even pose for my check-in photos for Paul for a week because it just hurt to put the shoe on. So that was one speed bump we experienced. The next speed bump was the Colorado trip. I wouldn't really consider it a bump. I would consider something that I did plan for, that I did know was coming and everything like that. But I wanted to try to maintain my progress that I had made before the trip and then come back and do one more push week, which we did after the trip. And so I consider that a win because I left right around 120.2 pounds, came back right around 120.6 pounds, I believe, from the Denver trip, 8 days. So made some good decisions over that. I'll put some pictures up as far as like whatever I could capture as far as food goes. But basically I navigated that trip thusly. I put in our biggest meal first, which usually was a meal out. I loosely tracked that. Then I kept my breakfasts and lunches, or, a breakfast and a dinner, pretty simple, pretty much the same. Focus on the protein. We got a lot of steps in, hiking and everything like that. And then of course, I focused on, vegetables and fiber and something colorful at my other meals, because if you've traveled before, you know that something colorful is a little bit harder to find when you are traveling and things like that. So that is a kind of overall review. And the lowest, I know I'll get this question, my macros are unique to me. The lowest my macros got was 120 protein, 45 fat, and 180 carbs. And we are starting a reverse from that point. 5 days at 45 minutes of cardio. So not too steep of calorie deficit. For me, I was definitely hungry, which was great because for a while in my improvement season, I was not feeling hungry for meals. I felt like I was pushing food and I was getting uncomfortable. Those three things, they definitely happen in your improvement season, and it is part of body building, because what are we doing? We are building a physique that we want to be proud of year over year over year as we return to the stage whenever it works out for us. So very happy with the progress overall. Again, wanted to kind of share a good overview and a physique update for you guys as far as that goes, kind of review the Colorado trip a little bit as well. But our plan from here is to reverse back up, maintain relatively close to where I am right now, but continue to add muscle mass. You know, Paul's feedback to me today was, hey, upper body is looking really good. I think we have a good place to maintain upper body there. We just need to really focus on glutes. And glutes for me have always been my slowest muscle group to grow over time. I have to push a lot of weight, but also recover very, very well for my glutes to actually grow and change and just get bigger and rounder all around. So, and that's what's necessary to compete in bikini and be competitive at the national level. My goal next year is to A, qualify, because I have to re-qualify, and then B, be competitive. You know, I don't want to get last call-outs next time. I want to move up to at least second call-outs. Like, I'd love to be first, but my goal is second. My goal is just to move up in the ranks a little bit higher, year over year over year, to really earn my spot up there, because that's more so when I want to show to myself, the judges, and everybody around me that I'm going to earn my place up there. So, I'm going to wrap up the video here, but I really appreciate you guys kind of tuning into this overall mini cut, physique update, everything like that. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Comment below with other videos and other updates that you want to see from me. I want to make sure that this is a great two-way communication street on my channel, that you guys are getting as much of an educational benefit and, you know, of course, watching this during your cardio, whatever it looks like for you. But please do comment. I read all the comments. I'll respond to you guys. If you have any questions for me, obviously you can shoot me an email, sarah@prophysique.com, or of course comment below and we can start chatting. But thank you guys so much for joining me today.